Hey guys, Aggie K Wealth Therapist coming at you this Friday with a live stream. I am prepping to add a whole bunch of videos to my Permission to Prosper program. How's this lighting working for us, guys? I MacGyvered it myself because my assistant wasn't available today, but I think it's all right. So we're going to chat about, I'm prepping to do a bunch of videos and I thought I would throw out a live. I'm going to do the full series inside PTP, but why am I out of breath? Like I'm just sitting here. What I'm talking about today is how to prime your subconscious for miracles. And generally speaking, huge breakthroughs or huge things like that, like miracles, really big deal things coming in, are not a great setup. And, I know it sounds crazy to say miracles are not a great setup, but here's why. It's kind of like, I would call it like the Britney Spears effect or the child celebrity effect, where your rise to stardom or how fast something happens or something like lottery winners, that type of effect can really shock the psyche. It's kind of just like, going into super cold water from a deep, deep heat. There's just a shock to the system and it takes a while for that to calibrate. So in general, I'm not a huge fan of aiming for that. Or attempting that, because I don't think it's really great for your psyche. I think you're way better off. Chances are you have a way better chance of shifting your subconscious into a possibility place, into attracting the level of income that you want incrementally. You have much better chances of doing that than just focusing on a miracle or a huge breakthrough, because with that usually comes a huge breakdown. And you don't really want to go for that. I'm trying to hide these plugs behind my back. So, because I think that's just hard on the body, I think it's hard on the body, it's hard on the psyche, it's hard on the subconscious. Gentler's always better. When you see the actors have to put on 100 pounds for a role or lose 100 pounds for a role, it's hard on the body. You're shifting a lot at once and you're expecting a lot at once. I think it's much more solid. A lot of people are asking for security and, having security with their money, having security with their income. And I think you have a lot more chance of solidity and security and believing that it's going to last if you create momentum, rather than just being fixated on a miracle or one big fix or the magic pill type of thing. So here's what I would do. Here's how I would prime the subconscious. Having said all that, as the caveat to this, here's what I would focus on if I was trying to prime my subconscious for a miracle. Here's how I want you to think about it. How would you convince an absolute staunch, curmudgeon-y pessimist? If you came across somebody who was a total pessimist of miracles and your job was to convince them that miracles are possible and real, how would you do that? That's the golden nugget question here. I'm going to say that again. How would you convince an absolute pessimist that miracles are real? Because that's what you're doing with your subconscious. Your subconscious is not really interested in things that are risky, as we know, in things that are impossible, in things that are, not super 100% proven. So how would you do that? How would you go about convincing the most pessimistic person that you could find on the topic that miracles are possible? That was your number one and only job. What would you do? Okay, because this is exactly how you would prime your subconscious to prepare for a miracle. This is how you would kind of prepare it. So one, you would wear it down, right? One, we learn this from kids. They're so good at wearing us down. They just wear you down. You know, suitors sometimes do this, like people that you're dating that you don't like that much, that just wear you down. You have to wear down your subconscious, right? By just being relentless with this one idea of miracles. Miracles are possible. Miracles happen every day. And then how are you wearing them down? You're wearing them down with evidence, with proof. You'd be putting that information in front of you, in front of that person constantly. Constantly, you would be putting information. Oh, look, this happened. There's been so many books written about miracles and people like experiencing miracles, people curing themselves of things, people attracting income out of nowhere, people going from rags to riches. You'd be in a constant state of putting that information in front of that person to wear down their resistance. Where if there was enough evidence and enough proof in front of them, they'd be like, well, I guess so. I mean, I still don't believe it, but I'm looking at all of this and I guess there's a small chance possibility. So you're wearing them down. You're giving them tons of proof and evidence that it's possible all the time. If you want to convince a total pessimist that miracles are possible, this isn't something you're doing with 10% of your focus. This is something you're doing with 100% of your focus, right? You're wearing them down, you're getting in front of them all the time, and it's the only thing that basically they're thinking about because you're introducing it all the time. So wear them down with evidence and proof. You talk about it all the time, and so that they're thinking about it all the time. This is what you're doing to prime your subconscious. You're thinking about it all the time, and you're kind of brainwashing yourself, right? Think about how you would be brainwashed. You'd be brainwashed by always being told something, just repetition, straight up repetition, right? So wearing them down with evidence, with proof. Find all the books, find all the articles, be searching for it in your consciousness constantly. In everything around you, in your environment. If you had to like build a court case for miracles, what would you do? On August, 17th, what miracles occurred? What happened? It means you're looking from a smallest miracle, like you put your car in the ignition, you put your key in the ignition and a car starts. You open your shower and water comes out. You'd be looking for miracles from smallest to biggest, constantly, all day long. You'd be brainwashing yourself to believe that miracles are constantly happening, so they're constantly possible, and you're building up that probability all the time. Then at some point, when you're done all this convincing, when you're done all this brainwashing, like how long can you do that for, right? So let's say, on some conscious level, this person is now convinced, this person being your subconscious, right? And if you're just tuning in, we're talking about how to prime your subconscious for miracles. And what I'm saying is, I want you to be thinking about it as if you were trying to convince a person, a pessimist, that miracles were possible. You do the exact same thing. You would show them evidence and proof. You would have to talk about it all the time and brainwash them. You'd be basically just harassing them constantly with these ideas until they got to a point where they just finally were worn down enough that they said, okay, so on some conscious level, I believe that miracles are possible. But then what do you do at that point when they still haven't experienced one, and you've put all the proof in front of them and you've kind of harassed them with all this information, you've started brainwashing them to believe that it's true? You have to at some point just let go and live your life as a miracle, right? You have to be the living proof of the miracle for them to truly believe it, for them to truly believe that it's possible. It's the same thing with people starting businesses. You have all these naysayers and you have all these people not believing you. Until you're living the truth, which means you're able to make a living income from whatever it is that you're doing, people are kind of like, it's cute. It's a nice hobby. Until you're living the truth of it, they're not really believing it, right? So that's the process. Evidence and proof, wearing it down, being relentless, and then start living the truth of life as a miracle, right? Which means, Your mindset has to be really set on believing that yourself. If you're going to convince another person of it, the other person being your subconscious, it means you are acting as if anything that happens in your life is a miracle, good or bad. Your level of trust is so high. Your level of confidence about miracles is so high. Your level of believing in blessings is so high that no matter what happens, you are affirming that that was a miracle, no matter what it looks like externally. Your level of trust is that high. So let me know what you think of that. Try it out. See what else you would come up with. I'm going to do the full training inside PTP. I'm going to add some more videos to the Permission to Prosper program. It goes live the first week of September. Early Bird ends this Sunday at 8 p.m. If you have any questions, pop into my inbox or my PMs if you still want to join. It's $500 off until Sunday. Yeah. And if you missed the beginning, I also talked about why I think you're way better off focusing on small wins, creating momentum, and creating a level of security in your subconscious about what's possible rather than going from zero to miracle, because I think it's just too hard on the psyche. People break down about it, like big breakthroughs come from big breakdowns usually. And I was calling it the Britney Spears effect. I don't know if somebody's coined that. But you know, the sort of like very fast rise to the top, something from zero to miracle. And then how do you sustain that? Learn to sustain living a miraculous life now. Learn to sustain living a successful life now, right? Incrementally, I think is much more beneficial, much more productive for your subconscious to accept. So those are my tips. Let me know how it goes. And hopefully you're joining me inside Permission to Prosper. Hopefully you caught the subconscious smackdown. A ton of people joined. I had no idea. That's kind of my miracle for this week. I didn't give it a whole lot of time to plan, time to promote. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to run it anyway. And I just kind of like left it alone and lived in the truth of that. And trusted the content on a high level, and like over 50 people joined. So that's friggin' awesome. I'm so happy. So if you haven't joined that, it's in the pin post on my page. So make sure you join that. It's a free training. And join me in PTP Live and like, let's prime your subconscious for all kinds of things, for success, for miracles, for more money. So just remember, no matter what you're trying to manifest, whether it's a miracle or more money or whatever, it's the same process. You're trying to convince somebody who absolutely has zero belief that it's possible. Your subconscious has zero belief it's possible. That's where you want to be operating from. That's the level of intention, of energy, of effort that is required to shift your subconscious into a different place of understanding, right? Whatever you're trying to manifest, you want to act, whether it's miracles, money, love, weight loss, whatever it might be, you're trying to convince a total non-believer, okay? So give me your game plan. How would you approach that, right? My process, evidence, proof, constantly thinking about it, constantly wearing down the thoughts on that level, like just in being incessant with that, because then it has to kind of give up at some point. It gets tired, right? And that's when you have to like even press the gas even more. Support is kind of key in that, because you do get tired of like when you're in that uphill momentum of trying to really shift something and believe something different. And then you start living your life in the truth of that. You have to start walking your talk in that. So that's my live stream for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, if it was relevant, please love, like, share. Join me inside PTP. Early Bird expires this Sunday at 8 p.m. I'd love to see you in there. If you haven't done the Subconscious Smackdown, we've had amazing feedback. Over 50 people have joined, which is freaking amazing considering I basically didn't promote it. That's a miracle. And I didn't even do all that. However, what I did do was I had a really high belief in the content. The belief in the content, that the content was transformational, was really, really, really high. So it goes to show you, like, the miracle can happen if your belief in the thing is really, really solid. And if it's not, ask yourself, what would it take for it to be really, really solid, right? Hey, Donna. Hey, Myra. Ask yourself what it would take for it to be really, really solid. What's missing? Okay. So that's it, guys. It's been awesome. I'm Aggie K, Wealth Therapist, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.